What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the best channel on YouTube. Today, we got another segment of Podcast Sunday, where me and guests speak on different topics about self-improvement and motivation, personal-wise and business-wise, while also providing some fire gameplay. Appreciate you watching, and let's get into it. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the best channel on YouTube. We are back out here with another Podcast Sunday.
Yes, sir.
You already know the vibes. We got Terence out here. We are about to get into something. I'm telling you, bro. It is. We about to get some good talks in right now.
Do what it do.
But yeah, so I mean, as always, we just gonna get into it because it's late. Your boy is tired. I'm trying to go to sleep. But we just gonna get into it. So we're gonna start off with our weekly recaps, as always. So I guess I'll start off with mine first. All right, so I mean, yo, it's been crazy. I mean,
The boys got some clout.
Yeah, I'm finally getting
got some clout.
Getting some clout, getting some followers. I might be getting a lot more views on these podcasts. But
I hope so.
yeah, I hope so too. We've been doing it for however long, 50 views a vid. But hey, man, we just gonna keep pushing, keep grinding, do what we do.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so I mean, I said it in my previous video, but I mean, I even got more followers now from my other one I did with JoJo. Well, appreciate everybody for subbing, following, all that, even following on Twitch. Like, y'all don't have to go to the Twitch. Like, that's tough. But yeah, I appreciate it all.
Hey, man.
But yeah, so I mean, that's just my week. A lot of growth on the channels, a lot more stuff. I'm trying to push a video a day. And I'm getting a little schedule together with it. So I mean, I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's on the way really soon. Yeah, so I mean, it's just been a very great week. It's like, even though I can say that I'm getting it from, I know it's coming from Josiah's following, but I guess I can still say that it feels pretty good to finally be recognized. Not saying, I don't know.
Right.
I guess because I mean, normally people would say recognized by. What we say?
I was gonna ask you, like, what's the best thing about it? Do you feel like a certain level of validation now? Because I know we talked about you feel like you've been putting on quality content and just the right eyes haven't gotten onto it, whether that's because of SEO or YouTube algorithms or whatever. But you said you've been putting out quality content, you've been proud of your content.
Yeah.
And now that people are finally, coming through, joining the club, whether that's because they were nudged in a certain direction or not, I think it doesn't really matter as much. But the fact that they come and they support, that's what is your takeaway on everything?
Well, I mean,
do you feel validated now?
I guess you could say that. I mean, it definitely has a effect where it's like, I know where they're coming from, so it's kind of like, I don't know. I still have that thing in the back of my mind where it's like, could I have gotten this myself?
Right.
I think that's always going to be there. And I mean, even it's not like JoJo is just going to keep pushing me till I get to 1 million, but I'm going to build something by myself. But this is just like the jump start. But I do feel sort of where I know that once I put out a video, it will be watched. It will be able to be watched. And then it just motivates me to keep on putting out videos. And I mean, from what I've heard, even the new people that join, people like the content that I put out.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And then even my IG and stuff that I put out on my IG, the clips. So, I mean, I guess you could say I do, because it's like I have the videos. People are enjoying it. It's not like because they could have just unsubscribed if they didn't enjoy the content. They don't have to subscribe.
Right.
They don't have to follow me.
There's no perks. There's no free Jurags attached with it.
Yeah, exactly. So So the fact that people are enjoying what I put out and sticking around, that's fantastic. That's all I can ask for. I mean, we just, like I said, we're just going to keep growing more and more.
Yeah.
Also, y'all go follow Terence. Go follow Terence.
Hey, man. I don't want your followers. I don't want your follow unless you're going to watch every one of my videos. But I kind of was thinking about that today, too. And I guess I'll go into my weekly recap I will talk about. I was thinking about that same idea recently, and just I recently I'm at 540 subs right now on YouTube, and I've been able to curate and grow, just do natural growth, and like you said, kind of like, will I be able to get there myself? Will I need a shout out? Will I need this? But I've been happy to just have those views and have the views that I got and have the growth that I've had at the steady pace that it's been at.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, me thinking when I put out a video, who's going to watch it, who's going to consume it.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've had conversations about like, a lot of my views right now are people that aren't subscribed to me because it's just generic, like self, help videos about, going to medical school and applying to medical school and taking certain tests. But I did put out a video that was a channel update. And to my surprise, I have to check the analytics on it. But, to my surprise, I can probably check it right now.
Got you.
But to my surprise, a lot of people actually watched it. And I was like thinking back and I was like, what? Let me see here.
I mean, this is all can be cut out, so it doesn't. You don't have to rush.
Okay, so yeah, so and I was looking at that video, and it was a channel update, and from my experience when I watch YouTube, when people post channel updates, when people post like stuff like that, it doesn't really get that many views.
Yeah,
and right now it's like ranked for like number 2 in video, like per this time frame, I guess.
Yeah, 28 days.
Yeah, per this time frame is ranked number 2. For being out for 5 days, it has like the number 2 most views that I've ever had. And 65% of the views have been from my subs. 34 have been from people that haven't subscribed and hopefully have been converted. So it's just good to see, like, at this point, 500 subscribers, 500 plus subscribers, I can, get 20 or, half of them or 20, that's about, 30 to 40% of them to click on a video that's just about me and not about like necessarily everything else that's going on or just looking to help them. So it's getting to that point and I'm really excited to, eventually hit 1,000. I think at this rate, I'll probably be at 1,000 probably by mid-July. So I'm just working at it. I'm keeping pushing, and my weekly recap is pretty much just I'm finishing up work. I got 2 weeks left. This is my second to last week. Everybody's giving me my kind of like goodbyes and all this stuff, and it's really, really nice. I'm training a new guy to kind of like replace me. And it's just nice to be able to kind of like take that final step and close off a chapter and open up a new one. Especially when you're in this in between period. I'm sure you could relate as far as like somebody that was just in kind of like that in between land where you weren't so much a beginner, but you were crafted enough and skilled enough, and you felt like you hit your ceiling in that area. You kind of were ready to take that next step. So I'm kind of feeling that same way where it's like I'm ready to take that next step, ready to move on to bigger and better things. I know Philly's wilding right now. We're going to talk about a little bit of that kind of stuff as far as like, the protests and stuff. I know that they've been doing a lot of great things out there. My school has actually reached out to me and they reached out to me today actually and said that, they're doing a lot of like front lines work, and a lot of the faculty and stuff and students are going down to march and stuff like that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. I'm excited to like make, this new very, very emotion filled city my new home. So I'm just looking forward to everything that's coming soon. Stay tuned for the podcast. We're gonna have a new background soon once I move.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna have hopefully I'm gonna have an office/studio. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice.
Man said internet is gonna be on 1 million.
I hope so. It comes in the lease. So we get like complimentary internet. So hopefully it's Comcast. I don't know if that's gonna be good or not. I'm used to that Verizon, but
I don't know. Yeah, that Verizon. I know the Verizon be hitting, bro. That's tough.
Yeah, that's right. But let's get into the topic this week. I mean, a lot's been going on. The title of the video is probably going to be something like "Rest in Peace, George Floyd." Talking about riots versus protests.
Exactly.
So let's get into it. I think obviously this week the biggest topic is the senseless racist murder of George Floyd. Everything that's been going on. riots, the protests, the looting, the misconception of looting and protest, the misconception of what or why or how you can tell somebody what to do when their anger and frustration is up. You know, let's talk all about it. I want to first hear your take on everything. How do you feel about everything that's been going on? Do you feel like it's in good timing? You think it's well overdue? Do you feel like, you know, we shouldn't even be having to do this? You know, how you feeling?
Got you. All right. So, I mean, I off rip already, you know, we all agree what happened to George Floyd was disgusting.
Right.
That's I'm attempting to keep my emotions in check, but it was just from seeing the video, I couldn't even watch the full video without.
Yeah, I didn't watch, bro.
Like,
to be honest,
I watched it, but I just didn't watch. I couldn't watch the full video. Like, after he said "mama," I just couldn't, because I just knew how angry I was already feeling.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, just the whole situation around that, and even the whole situation around how long it even took for the culprits to be arrested for the crime that was caught on video. It just boggles me how, when there's a crime that's committed live on a video, can take what was it, a week? I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it boggles me, and it's my feelings on the whole situation. I'm very, very upset. But on the other hand, I'm very proud. Proud for the simple fact that our people finally stopped just letting things happen.
Right.
Because, you know, there's that might be a very controversial statement, but I'm proud that we finally took a stand. I mean, we've done protests before. I was actually in a protest before when, unfortunately, Eric Garner had was murdered. Let me say that.
Right.
And I was in a protest before, but it was nothing like this.
Right.
Nothing at all. And this,
I want to. No, finish your point.
It was nothing like this, and this was felt all over the world. You see, in multiple different countries, every single state in this country protested, and with one voice, we all knew exactly what we wanted. Even though we're going to get into it, the whole looting situation and all those other stuff. And the majority, we all knew what we wanted, and it was just one single goal. And then people heard. And then we'll also get into the very disgusting acts also of the policemen in the protesting, or what they did to the protesters as well. But like I said, I take pride in that we didn't just let this one slide by as it's just happened again. Because I can't say that I'm not numb to the whole entire situation or becoming a little desensitized to it because of how many times it's happened. I can't say that I haven't at all.
Right.
But I'm very glad and very proud, yet again, like I said, that our people just didn't let this one slide. And even Breonna Taylor's, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. And then Ahmaud Arbery. I believe we were fighting for all of them, even though the main, I believe, one was for Mr. George Floyd. Everybody knew that we're also thinking of Breonna. We're also thinking of Ahmaud when we protest that Black Lives Matter. And then another thing I guess we can get into is also the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I want to challenge. I agree with everything you said, and you said it very, very well. And I'm not even going to reiterate because you did mention very, very great points. I want to challenge you though, because I think that what made this one even more emphatic is the people that weren't Black that were now coming to the front. I think, you know, you look at a country that's, you know, 10%, 12, 13% Black, right?
Yeah.
There's no way that we can make this shift alone.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And I think it's the idea that you see, social media uprise, you see people going out and actually making change. And I think that comes from when you see an act that there's no defense. I mean, people could try to swing it, switch it up, say that he had past criminal record, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You could try to mix it up as much as you want. But at the end of the day, I think most people are realizing, that was just 100% senseless.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And there's no excuse for it. And I think people came to that point. And a lot of because of social media, a lot of white folks and non-minority folks, even people that aren't black, other minorities that aren't black, are coming to the realization that wait a second, just seeing these things back to back to back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They come to the realization that wait a second, something is not right. You see it the first time, it's like, oh, maybe that's this. And then you see the second time, it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of weird. And then you see the third time, you're like, all right, this has got to stop, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
I think you hit it right on the head. I think it's more than the black community, because when you see, Garner, you see, people in the past that have been murdered as senseless, and we have these, I can't breathe. We have these, hands up, don't shoot. Rallies. It's mostly black people. It's mostly black folks. I remember when I was in college, my freshman year, I believe when the Gardner situation happened, it was a situation where it's it's mostly the black students on campus doing the rally, and they're doing the protesting.
Yeah.
And now you see it. The most beautiful thing to me is seeing white folks come to the mercy of an oppressed people and kind of say, lend their hand and say, we are with you. We're people that you could trust in us. We're not all this, we're not all that. That goes kind of into the all lives matter, all lives whatever. All cops aren't bad debate that we could probably get into in a second. But the idea that it's kind of we're with you. You could feel like you can be with us. We could the country might be getting torn down by these looters, or the cities might be broken down, but we'll help you build it back up, because we care about you beyond this one situation, or beyond what these one group of people kind of are these one group of people kind of mold or kind of show what white people or what cops could be. They kind of want to break that stereotype themselves. And I think the action is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that, where it's it did bring a sense of unity to just humans in this country. There was definitely a lot of unity, where it was a lot of diversity. I even saw there was just, like you said, there was even
you even talked about it outside the country.
Yeah, outside the country. And then even there was Amish people that was when do you see an Amish person going to a protest?
Right.
I'm not even no funny, no nothing. When do you see that? Never.
Right.
Ever. That's not something that you see. But
right.
I mean, I kind of have mixed feelings, because it's just because I've seen it also brought out the terrible people. It brought out how some people really feel underneath. Whereas you saw people going up against protesters. And most of them, if not all, were white. And then you had the white supremacist people, the white supremacist groups coming up against protesters. And then you just had it, and
it's so hard. It's so hard because you don't know what intent. You can't. It's hard to hear somebody or understand somebody's intentions, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely,
it's. I mean, there's certain people that for a fact, they are not trying to listen. They're not trying to change. They're not trying to mold. Yeah. They're not trying to adapt to anything that's out of their comfort zone. And those people, you could say, screw them, forget them.
Yeah.
But there's also people that are just slaves to the media.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, even black people came out and said riots are not the way to go. Looting is not the way to go, because once you give people an opportunity to write you off, once you give people an opportunity to say, oh, there goes those black people again, just wilding out, right? not uncontrolled.
Yeah.
You know, once you, and you could call it what it is. I mean, if you say like, we're tired, we're tired of listening, we're tired of, we've done it peacefully and it hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm.
By all means, Black people have a right to do that. Any race has a right to do that. If you've been doing something peacefully for a long time and you're not getting heard, and you could say, peaceful protest is whitewash. You could say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But once you give somebody an opportunity, it's kind of, you have to take your battles with strides. In my opinion, you have to kind of say like, these people may not be ready for an uprising to our, at this extent.
Yeah.
We might have to, spoon feed them a little bit so that they're ready to understand. I think that's what a lot of stuff happened that's going on right now. It's like that slow spoon feeding of getting people that aren't minorities on board to help us fight. Because once you start bringing in the violence and stuff like that, then immediately people are just going to write it off and say all this protest is all about just trying to destroy stuff and senseless violence. Violence isn't fixed violence. Which isn't the case, but that's just the easy story and easy thing to categorize,
Yeah. And I think that even with just one thing that I've noticed, that a lot of people, hold on, let me restart that. One thing I've noticed, that it's like a lot of white people, they are now realizing or admitting that there's privilege that they have, in that if there's like a situation where there's a police officer attempting to get into, like I've seen it in like a lot of different cases, where it's like a situation where a police officer is trying to get to a Black man, they would step in between, and then it's like, now the world kind of sees, like, people can deny it all you want, but if you see this man getting maced and these group of people doing the same thing and not getting maced, what does that say?
Right.
What does that say? It's like this one guy, I saw a video, it was literally this one guy just standing there. And then there was these people over here pushing up against police with riot shields. And he gets maced. Like, if you don't understand the just basic information of the privilege that you have, I'm talking to white people, I hope nobody gets offended by this. I mean, hey, I'm just speaking my mind, but
here's the thing. If you get offended by this, then that means you have some work to do. If you feel uncomfortable, that means you have some work to do, and it's okay to embrace that. When we make mistakes, when we mess up in life, and it doesn't have to be anything racial. Anytime you mess up in life, you feel that sense of uncomfort since you were a little kid. When your mom yells at you, you feel uncomfortable. That means you have to make a change to be better. Same thing with this. A lot of people are uncomfortable. A lot of people I know personally, and we could get into that right after, but a lot of people I know, people I know are kind of like waking up and saying like, I really don't know anything about Black history. I really don't know anything outside of what they kind of taught us for that 1 month every year in school. I really don't know about the struggles. I thought that if we just all work hard, we'll all be successful. Just because I'm not racist personally. And that's like, just ignorance. Sometimes ignorance is bliss for some people. And they're like, I'm not racist. So like, why should I have to fix anything? Right. So it's, and it just, sometimes that just isn't enough. And, some people, their natural reaction is just because that's uncomfortable for them, will just be like, all lives matter. All I'm here to do is be peaceful. They just want to spread this peace, but they don't realize that the peace that they're spreading is kind of like demeaning to a certain goal. Sometimes people aren't ready to be pro-Black just yet.
They're not ready to fight. That's just plain. They're not ready to have those conversations. Like you said, I mean, I get it. Everybody gets uncomfortable, especially when you feel as though you're being attacked. But guess what? We feel as though we're being attacked every day.
Daily, yeah.
If you can't get out of your comfort zone for a little, it's not even, it's like.
It's because the crazy part is we can understand that because our comfort zone is out of our comfort zone. Yeah,
most definitely.
Right? You want to speak a certain dialogue, you want to act a certain way, you want to listen to music at a loud audio, you want to listen to your speakers at a loud volume.
Exactly.
You want to bump the music that you appreciate and you love, but if you rolling by a residential area, you can't be doing that because you'll be looking at crazy and you might die because of it.
Exactly.
Every time I gotta go for a walk or if I go for a bike ride, I gotta bring my wallet because just in case somehow something happens with the police, I gotta show that I live in the area.
Yeah,
I'm not just some random hobo outsider. But there's certain elements that I definitely want to talk about. Just like I definitely do believe that there's more good than bad. I was recently watching a Michelle Obama, her documentary on her book tour on Netflix, and how she, when she was doing all the campaigning and helping Barack, she was, getting pretty much called like this angry black woman. She was getting defaced, demeaned, disrespected. People saw her in a different way, called her racial names, racist things, monkey, whatever. And it was terrible because you're looking at somebody that's trying to do good, has a good ambition and is passionate. And because people aren't, used to seeing that, they'll want to categorize. And, it's easy for her to just say, people are bad. People in the United States are bad. But when she goes on these book tours, when she meets these people face to face and she's selling out arenas in 25 different cities, it goes to show, these people, and these are her closest fans, like these are just the close people that will be willing to pay money to go see her talk in an interview. But it just goes to show, like, if you go out and you touch the people, more people than not will embrace you. And you can see that with I think with the protests every 50 states. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I don't know. I see people in New York. I see people in these big cities. But I don't know if people are in Wyoming, and people in Utah, people in Montana are out there in the streets. But it just turns out they are. It turns out they are. And when I think about having to bring my wallet to go ride my bike, there's never ever a time where I pass by a white lady walking and she doesn't say good morning to me. So it's sometimes when you go out and you meet the people, of course there's people that give you weird looks or people that do whatever, but that just might be because it's coronavirus. I don't know. Like, I can't tell people's intentions. But I always just try to put on a smile. I try to, and then people often give it in return. It could be because I'm from New York. It could be the area I'm in is a very liberal spot, even though it is white. But I try to see that positive for sure, even through all the negative that's going on.
I mean, it's definitely something that's a necessity to recognize that there is definitely positive. There's a lot of good people. It's definitely positive in the community, but I feel as though some people just want to stay in the positive and not address the negative sometimes.
I agree.
But, I'd say for me, I mean, I would say I've had a few different instances where it's like, I mean, I guess you could say it's just average for us as black men. It's just the different looks that you get just from walking. It's like just the different, like I would be walking down, like, I guess it's just like I said, the different areas that we live in. Like, I would be walking down the street, maybe if I'm with Jason and Josiah. And it's just like you turn and you just see somebody. I've had instances where it's just somebody's glaring at me. Like, I'm like, why? Like, I'm just walking. But it's just it's the ignorance of what people perceive of me as a black man. And then there was even one instance recently, I think I told you guys about it, where it's like, I was literally just walking Sampson up a street. I've never been up that street before. And then there was a lot of people around, mostly white people. And I noticed a lady had stared at me, and she was staring at me quite a while. And then there was another group. There was another group of black people. It was a black family. It was a mother, father, two daughters, one son. And they were walking up the hill to the right of me. I was walking up the left side of the hill. And then I look at the lady. She looks at me. She continued to stare at me as I walk away. And about 3 minutes later, I noticed she also looked at the family to my right. And I noticed about 3 minutes later, a police car pulled up. And then it just like, it went up the hill past us. The cops dead looked directly at me. And I'm like, it just goes to show that I don't want to like get angry. It's like,
No.
It just goes to show that, like I said, you do have to focus on the positive, but there's definitely
it's not dead.
Yeah, it's not even close to that. Like I saw even like, I don't know if you saw my IG story I put on. It was like a Malcolm X thing where he was like,
I've been off IG.
I've been off IG.
Yeah, I had to put it away. It was too much, man.
Oh yeah, no, I was definitely.
I go on like once a day now.
Got you. Yeah, no, I was definitely feeling, because then it was like just different stuff with the protests and just seeing the disgusting acts that were just being portrayed by the police officers. It was definitely. I wanted to also be informed, so I didn't stay away, but I limited my time. But one thing that it was a Malcolm X thing I put on my story, and he had said that there was somebody that asked him, how does it feel to have some sort of relief? Like they were talking about racism and like what he's done.
We're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's a blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
It hasn't even been pulled out yet. It's just like, it's not even been acknowledged that it's there. That's just the whole story with racism. And some people, just like you said, it's ignorance is bliss. So it's like, they just don't want to acknowledge that it's there sometimes.
Yeah, I think the change that's being made now, and you can kind of see a slight shift, which is the acknowledgement. And now the next step is, all right, the change, enforcing a longitudinal fight over years and years and decades to come that will instill the change. It's more than just 1 week, 2 weeks worth of uproar. It's, now this can lead to awareness, but now what are we doing to implement that change? Is legislation being passed? Are laws being passed? Are we truly fighting for what we're doing? So it's something that comes in all shapes and forms. And I was thinking about it this weekend because, for people that don't know, my girlfriend's white, and we're both really passionate about like the stuff we do in the community. She was involved heavily in minority communities a lot when she was at school, mentorship programs, after school programs for a lot of the youth are in neighboring communities with low socioeconomic status and minorities especially. And she's done mission trips to impoverished countries and different things like that to help them. So she's very involved in the community. Yeah, she's very involved in the community, and she does more. I like to be very involved in my community as well through charity and different things like that. Just trying to instill that change and instill how white folks look at a black person, black male, black female. They could see him as a leader. They could see him as a role model besides the color of your skin.
Yeah.
So we're both, big into our communities, and I was thinking about, think about in the future, like my grandkids ask me, in the textbook when they talk about the 2020 riots, what were you doing? And I asked myself, is it shameful of me to not be on the front lines marching? It's a sexier story to be like, I was there at the riots. I was there in the front lines. I was bantering the cops. I was egging them on. I was telling them that we need change, marching for days. But me and her were talking and just thinking about the things that we do. Think about the things that we want to instill. It was my dream, especially, but I know it's just something that she kind of backs me up in. Is to one day, once you get the capital and get the money and then the investment, build you know, in a low economic community, in a minority community, a giant rec center, to have after school programs, to have a safe haven for people, build a foundation to give back to these kids and provide them education about their history, changing things in the curriculum so that we learn about these things, you know, fighting this fight over a long period of time, and you know, putting in the work, and instead of thinking about, for me, instead of thinking about like, all right, what did you do in these 2 weeks that we're going through right now? What are you doing in the years to come, every single day, every single week, to make sure that this change is made? I know if I build a rec center, new kids are coming in every year, new kids are graduating every single year. As fresh people, you can impact and influence. Building after school programs, implementing that change, building mentorship programs, getting involved in stuff like that when I go to Philadelphia, and something that I'm really looking forward to. And just that's the fight too. And I think that a lot of people find and lose that if you're not posting, if you're not doing things right now. That means you're not fighting the good fight. And I think that you do need to do stuff now. The reason why there's certain type of people that are out in the street that have that energy, that, you know, will help implement that change, but it also needs to be something, you know, what we're doing going forward, you know?
Yeah, no, most definitely. Wait 1 second. Yeah, no, I mean, I say me personally, I don't know, I've been contemplating that as well, about like just being, is it enough what I'm doing right now?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people, and I know I don't want to make this too long. We should probably even do
make this as long as this should be the longest episode, because it's important.
That's tough. Yeah, no, I mean, because, well, no, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't make it too long. Also because
make it, make it. We
can do a part two. We can do a part two.
Yeah, we can always do a part two.
All right, so yeah, part two gonna be coming after this. Don't just look out for it, because we can't possibly cover all of it. Right?
Well, next week or tomorrow or something, we'll do a part two, and then you'll just release it.
Next week,
next Sunday, because it's still gonna be a topic for sure.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But yeah, no. So with me, it's like even with the whole Blackout Tuesday, and then just posting on the story, just different updates. Like, there's a lot of people that's a lot better with it than me, that have multiple different stuff that I actually follow, that I'm just trying to keep up to date with them. But it's like, what am I doing? I feel as though I'm more of the type to go out and do the protesting. That's just me. But as of right now, I can't, just for the simple fact that, I guess with the whole corona situation and with everything going on, it's just, my family is just being very cautious about it. But that does not mean that we are not supporting. That does not mean that we are doing a lot. We have a lot of different plans that we are going to start doing, that I'm actually involved with personally, just to get into the actual police force, and just to get out, just to know who is in there. Like I said, I don't want to go too much into it, but we're more focusing on finding the problems in certain places, and just seeing what we can do to help out those problems. I think it's important to, because everybody has their own, you know, passions and missions. Like your passion, your direction might be through the police force. My passion is in, you know, education and educating the youth, changing how, you know, you hear it all the time on Xbox. You know, people would just say, "Oh, you're black, you're off welfare." Like that's how people really see. Like, people don't think that black people actually helped build the country. They don't think that they were we're successful. They don't think that we're the ones that died as well in a lot of these American revolutions and these wars that helped build and give America freedom. They don't know the history. That's why
they don't know the history. So, you know, they don't know about the Civil War and black people dying. They don't know about all the wars and all the people that are the black people that are enlisted in, you know, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, Marines, everything.
Even further back than that. They don't know where we came from. Like, what black people, you don't understand what we were or what we still are, but what we came from.
Like, right. Because I heard it today. It was on a podcast. They were like saying Black people are peaceful people.
Mm-hmm.
We're inviting, we're welcoming, we invite everybody to the cookout. We forgive people that make mistakes. We forgive R. Kelly, we forgive Kevin Hart, we forgive all these people that make these mistakes and taint the legacy of Black people because we're just peaceful, forgiving people. But the times that you see us and see people enraged, you get that angry Black lady or the angry Black folk, is when it is in retaliation to something that's harmed to us, in retaliation to the trauma.
Exactly.
Kids in the hood have short tempers and short fuses because they are dealing with so much trauma. The fact that they don't have two parents in their life, or one parent's in jail, one parent is working doubles, and they don't have parents in their life. Their parents might be divorced, so they're hopping from family to family, so they're enraged, they're angry. They have a short fuse. They're not paying attention in school. Thus, they don't have a good education. These are results of systemic oppression and things that have been put into place. That hasn't given people the opportunity to be as peaceful as they want to be. So that's why you see the craziness. That's why you see the uproar.
Exactly.
That's why you see that anger in the music. You hear the hard drums. You hear the yelling. You hear the transgression. If you just listen to Pimp a Butterfly, you get so much masterful music and expression from the Black plight and the Black community. So different things like that, I think, go a long way, and people just don't realize that anger, that frustration that you always see is in retaliation. The only thing that they put in the news is retaliation for what's happening. And if that's all you see, if all you see is the retaliation, you don't see everything underlying. You don't see the fact that we're musicians, entrepreneurs, scientists, doctors, caregivers, authors, poets, you don't see that underlying stuff, then of course you're going to think that all Black people are just on welfare. How can you blame somebody,
And then it's just like, me and Prince were actually having a conversation through Instagram chat today just about a lot of different stuff that we're talking about right now.
Right.
Shouts out to Prince for sharing that info with me. And then he also shares like different stuff about just what's going on now with me and just different people that's actually doing stuff now, like in the communities. So shouts out to Prince. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, what the media, the media is not for Black people. As in, they're not for us. As in, not that it's not for us to watch, but they're not for us. Just the way that they portray us. It's
certain media outlets do it worse than others, but
most definitely. And then like even because you had said how it's like you can't really blame them because of how the media portrays us. But then,
you can blame them. You can.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, because it's like there's a lot of other things that you can see throughout the media or social media, I'll say. The media tends to not portray us in the best light.
Yeah.
I think that's just a whole nother topic.
That just goes down to education, What are you taught in school? You're taught 1 month out of the year that there was 5 select Black folk that did good things for Black people, and the rest of them were just slaves. So like, what do you expect people to think when that's all they taught? Growing up. I heard one story that was like a white family or maybe a white teacher, or a teacher that just was ignorant. I don't know the race, but they were teaching about Rosa Parks, and they were just saying that she was an old lady that one day her feet were hurting, and she didn't feel like going to the back of bus that day. So that was the day that she decided to take a stand. Meanwhile, she was an activist. She was a young woman. So all these little things that like just how certain things are taught. You just think that a stand is just made because of an old lady that her feet hurt. She was just being complaining that day, not the fact that she was there taking a stand there with Dr. King. All these different things. So it's crazy.
And it's even, I'd say it's even at fault of the school system, because like you said, They don't teach about Black history too much.
No. If I didn't learn it on my own, I would have never known.
Yeah, I mean, and even with my knowledge, I'd even said that I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot. I can say that truthfully. I really want to learn a lot more about our history, but it's like it's also the fault of the school system, because that's the beginning stages of teaching, or that's the beginning stages of education or knowledge that somebody gets, which is you can get stuff from your parents, of course, but your education or your knowledge, what molds you into that intellectual person, comes normally from school. Or if you're homeschooled, then it comes from, of course, your parents. But if you take out that portion of history, then you just teach, like even with the story of Christopher Columbus, like from what I've heard, they don't really go into what they just said. He came here and he founded.
Right. No. Yeah.
It's
the fact that Christopher Columbus was not a man that was even liked by his own people.
Yeah.
He accidentally came across a place. The fact that you think you can claim land is nuts to me. Yeah. Like thinking about like you're just saying like, oh yeah, this is mine. Like how?
What gives you the right?
Yeah.
You have to have either a huge ego or just be stupid. Like straight up.
No, it's just. I mean, I don't even know what was going on back then, but the fact that these are situations of mass genocide.
Yeah.
Wiping out people, putting them in little circles and saying, hey, you could live in this one location in this circle for Native American people. So, I mean, it's just disgusting. And the fact that we have a holiday every year.
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. It's just like, but that's what I was saying was they really just teach the base form, which he really didn't found anything. He
right.
I don't even want to go into that because that's a whole nother
right. No, yeah.
But like I said, they teach the base of everything, and I feel as though they do that. No, it's not. I feel as though they do that on purpose because they don't want us to know they don't want us to know, like I said, where we came from, what we're capable of accomplishing, what we're capable of doing. Because where we came from, we were the top. Like we were the top, and I feel as though they don't want us to know that. Because they just want us to continue to see what we see on the media, which is, welfare, always collecting money from the government, not opening businesses. They like to put fights of us on the media, like we're always fighting, always killing, black on black crime. But they never want to highlight the other stuff. And sometimes one or two stories just to be like, oh, we're not doing that. But we know we see it. We're not stupid. But it's we have, like I said before, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking about, it was like I lost my train of thought. Wait, what was I talking about before? It was about the
you had a friend of yours, the media. They don't want you to know about your history.
Yeah. They don't want you to know about your history. And what's capable of, what you're able to do. Bro, what the? See, this is why Kingzeph can't do the tire talk. Bro, what? I really just forgot my whole train of thought. So I was talking to her, and then we were talking about like what we're capable of, and I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I mean, even in that, we can say about even like the Black Wall Street. Like, I'm surprised. I was very shocked that even when people had mentioned it, even throughout this whole Blackout Tuesday, a lot of people did not know what it was. Yeah. People that looked like me did not know. Like, that's how warped they have created. I mean, not created, have made us to know. I mean, to not even realize that we had we were business owners.
Right.
We had a whole entire city for us. It's like what they don't. I'm pretty sure you never heard of that in the like high school.
No, never. Never. I think it's just passive. It's just passive. A passive system. Because I'm sure that the people that are teachers now, the people of my generation that are becoming teachers, their intentions aren't to like hold out information from Black people. They just don't know any better. Like, they just were never taught it themselves. So or like they were taught it a certain way, so that's how they think it is, and they just continue to teach it to people in that way. But maybe I'm sure originally people were trying to, whitewash history to kind of make, white people look good, because, if you're the one writing the history books, you're going to make yourself look good.
Exactly.
But then from then on, people just don't really understand it. They just, you're just passive in your life. You just not even realize you have these privileges. You think everything is equal. You think if everybody just works hard, because that's, what your reality is. But somebody else's reality, and if you speak up about it, you kind of get looked at a certain way. But somebody else's reality is completely different, but it's hard to believe until you see it. And I think a lot of people are seeing it now.
Exactly. And it's I remembered my thought. So basically what I was saying, we were having a conversation, like I said, about the protests and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was saying that this is just I don't have an answer for what we can do, just because of like what we can do to make the change, or what we can do to finally have a certain change in this country. I don't have the answer, because of that there's different facts. I mean, there's different factors to it. One, you can do protesting, you can get your voice heard, but that's definitely not going to be the one thing that's going to make it change. And then, like I said, even with the school system, they don't teach our history. They don't know our history. So we'd have to also change the school system. We have to also change the curriculum. That's two. And then just the views on how white people or people just view Black people in general. We'd have to change that as well. That's a mental thing. That's very hard to change. Also attack every single stereotype. So it's not one single simple answer.
And it has to be actions through ourselves as well. Yeah. Because we can't just say, you guys change, but we keep, you see the Black on Black crime rate still the same, or you see Black people aren't pouring money back into the community, or piling or putting their money together in order to, better their community, or, you see them destroying their community, living in these certain ways. If you're saying like, do this, even if you have the answers, it starts with, I feel like it always is going to start with self first. Self of knowing what you want and how you can get there, and what you can do to change it, and actually changing it. That's the difference. For sure.
And even, I mean, that's probably, I don't know, I feel like that's like a very unpopular opinion, but that I wouldn't say, like people would say like, oh, you have to start with yourself to change the police. No, that's not what we're talking about. You don't have to start with yourself to change the police. That's a whole nother topic. I'm not even going to get into that. But I was just clarifying that wasn't what you were saying. We as a community also have problems that we have to overcome. Like, we can't just point the finger. There's also stuff that goes on within our community that we definitely need to check, and we definitely need to
I think that's secondary to what we're talking about the situation right now, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
That's a secondary thing that that needs to get taken care of. Yeah. But the primary thing is how injustice needs to turn into justice. Yeah. How being a cop is the only job where you can consistently do poorly at your job. Yeah. And still get relieved of your duties and not get charged with things. Have this, blue shield or whatever they call it, that everybody works together. And if you rat on your fellow cop, then you are going to get shunned. There's no other job where that happens to you. Yeah. And you can't speak your mind. You can't speak for what you stand for. So it just needs to be a change system in that way as well. I think that's the primary goal, because that's what a lot of people are upset about at this point. It's just the fact that bad things are happening and justice isn't being served. I mean, racism is going to be racism, and that's a long unfolding process. But it's the fact that, like, when bad stuff does happen, if you say you want things to change, you think that people say that everybody's equal in this country, but you see these things that are happening, and justice isn't being served.
Yeah. No, yeah. So that's definitely a secondary, like Terence said. I completely agree with that. So we have to address the situation now. And I can't even say that I'm even happy or I am even completely satisfied with even the charges that they have right now. Because it's like, you give them bail, you give this man second degree. Why not first degree murder? Why not? Why is it always have to be not the complete thing? It's always a second option. It's never.
Well, I mean that I don't know. That you might have to do your own research, and I think the second degree, the degrees of murder, just from my understanding of law, from just like class I took in high school, just like the level of premeditation. So like first degree is pretty much like if I say, all right, Zeph's been really bothering me lately. I completely devise a plan to go to your house and murder you. That's like first degree, like premeditated. Like I plan to do this to you, and it's the most act of complete savagery and uncontrolled like state where actually it's a very controlled state where you have a plan. Then you have manslaughter, which is like something of acts like uncontrolled, accidental, like there was no plan, I just did it. Second degree, I don't know the difference between second and third degree, but it comes down to the level of premeditation, I think.
Got you. Yeah, no, I'm definitely can't say that I'm versed in the that part or stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, no. But then again, you could say that he knew the guy. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He knew him for 15 years or something like that. So even that, you can say that's premeditated, because if you know somebody for especially that long, like if you knew somebody and you were cool with them, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that if you were cool with somebody that you knew for 15 years.
Right.
So there's definitely a premeditation to that, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Like I said, even like again, why is it not first degree? And then with the people there were also people that was on the man.
Yeah.
So why are they not charged with? I don't even know what the charges are.
Yeah, I don't know what their charges are. They're gonna release them soon. Probably they're gonna release the charges and information soon. But that's that.
So it's just, and it's
again, it goes back to the system.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we're unfortunately gonna be wrapping it up soon because.
Yeah, I know you want to ask me like a question.
Yeah, got you.
So you could ask me that. I don't know if you want to ask me in this episode. I have a pretty good answer.
I mean, I'm even talking about it now. I think that you might even have to do a part 3. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah,
we didn't even get into protests. We didn't even get to
looting and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So, all right. Let me just cut that part off, and then we'll just start off. All right. So in our last topic, I want to just see Terence's view on, because Terence, he lives he grew up in a different type of neighborhood.
Right. Majority white. I was probably one of like a handful of black kids in my elementary school, or less. I think 2 of the black kids was me and my brother. So, and we had another group of brothers that lived around the block. So probably a handful, including us. Us, basically 2 families. But
yeah. So I mean, what my question I posed him, because I mean, I guess I don't really have too many white friends, I guess I would say, like that I talk to. Like, I got a best friend. He's black, Guyanese. What's up? But yeah, no. So I just want to hear his side on how he feels, or how this whole situation has affected him, and just his relationship with his white friends. I know a lot of them too, so I don't know if they watch.
Yeah. No, you know a lot of them, and you know my close friends are my close friends. Like I keep a very tight circle. I mentioned, you know, my girlfriend's also white, and a lot of it's easy to kind of look at that and look at that perception and kind of say like, okay, this guy is kind of like, lost in the sauce. This guy's in a sunken
yeah.
place. It definitely does kind of change your perception a little bit, because there are some people that you kind of hang around with, and then you see what they're kind of portraying around on Instagram and kind of saying. But like I said, I kind of approach it with a sense of empathy in a way, because I know that, it's uncomfortable for a lot of people to kind of feel this way. There a lot of people. I was talking to a close friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name, but we both know him. And, I was talking to him yesterday, and he was just, he reached out to me and he said, I will never understand what people of color go through and the people in the Black community, but just to let you know, I'm like standing with you. I'm somebody that will always be here to listen. There's a lot of stuff that I am learning now for the first time and didn't realize that I, was exposed or been exposed to, or had certain things going on around me that I didn't realize. And, just for him to reach out to me and say that kind of stuff, and people that I know reach out to me and kind of say that kind of stuff, you could look at it one of two ways. You could look at them as pandering, just following a trend, or you could look at it as sincerity. And I think it's sincerity, because when I did come to and did move into that neighborhood, I didn't have any friends, and I didn't know anybody. And this same kid that, is texting me, 10, 15 years later, 15 plus years, not 15, maybe 14 or so years later,
that's friendship right there.
Like more than 10 years later, is texting me. That same kid was the kid that came up to me after school, at an after school program, and said what's up to me, and when he didn't have to. He had friends, he knew people already, but he didn't have to say that stuff. He didn't have to come up to me. We didn't have to make a bond and build a friendship and a relationship over this X amount of period of time. He was somebody that took a shy kid, took a kid that was isolated and felt isolated because of the color of his skin, because of his background, because I was new in the neighborhood, and he gave him a new home, and that's something I can't just go and say that I don't appreciate that. I can't go and say,
most definitely.
I look at him in a different light. There's certain things that for sure he'll never understand.
Yeah, most definitely.
And a lot of friends that white friends that I have will never understand certain things, but I never will attribute that to them being racist. I'll just attribute that to them not being aware. And it's also my responsibility to kind of push that agenda, push that discomfort, have those tough conversations, because definitely growing up, I wasn't somebody that was trying to push those agendas. I was just trying to assimilate as much as possible. So I think it's puts a responsibility on me now to kind of talk about those things and bring those things to the forefront. And as long as people are willing to be receptive and people are willing to listen and learn, I think that's the biggest takeaway. Even my girlfriend as well, like I said, we talked about different things about, the stuff that we do in the community. And even her, she's using this as a time to learn about a lot of stuff. I mean, we've talked about stuff obviously in confidence, because she's learned more about me and more about, my culture as we've gotten to know each other over the past, 4 years. But, there's still a lot that she doesn't know. There's still a lot that we want to explore together. If she's going to be my eventual wife and the eventual mother of, Black kids one day, it's a situation where you got to understand that your kids are going to be looked at in a certain light, because of the color of their skin. So it's something that it's just willing to educate and willing to put people in their discomfort zone and help them along the process. Some people kind of look at people or get mad or look at people with animosity. That's 100% fine. I can't blame anybody for how they react to certain situations. If I was just like, screw all my white friends, I'm getting Black friends from now on, you can kind of understand why somebody would do that. But the people I'm close with for a reason, because they've always been welcoming to me. They've never discriminated against me because of my race. They've embraced Black culture and different things like that. They never put me in a situation where I've had to be around certain people that may have certain views. And even in situations where they did or I felt that way, they took my side, or they took, or fought the battle for me and helped me out. So I think it's all about just, putting things on the forefront and kind of putting things out there. Now we know that these things are out there. It's my responsibility to now, help my friends understand what's going on and how I feel, as well as them being willing to accept that. So it's very, very interesting. Even, because it's tough for me to, because I don't live in like a black and white world, not literally by skin color, but I live in a very gray world where things aren't one or the other. I don't look at things I try not to look at things from extremes. I try to look at things in a realistic perspective. Kind of going back to what I was saying before, like not everybody is bad, but if you just watch the media, you would think there was a good side and a bad side. So I try to look at, even my medical school that I'm going to, majority white, but it's the good white people, it's like it's a select group of people that are going to be on the streets, on the protests, are going to be the people that are have your back when things are down, come to your support. Not all of them, but the ones that do are the ones that you rely on and you get close to. At the end of the day, we aren't at the equal playing field as with privilege as far as white people, and we need as much help as possible, whether that's from building ourselves up through black owned businesses and supporting black community, but it's also building that connection, play the game to win the game, play the game to change the game, as J. Cole said, so you can't, sometimes you have to play the game to change the game. And we could go into a whole another conversation on the mind of black people, how black people kind of see people that play the game to change the game as, coon or whatever. But sometimes you do have to, use the things that are around you, use the things that you do have, use the things that you do have access to play a long game that will ultimately change more lives than if you kind of just, stuck in your ways, stuck in your ego. But that's a whole nother conversation. We can get into it.
We got a whole nother conversation and every single thing we talked about. Like I don't think we finished the conversation of everything that we talked about.
Not at all. It's about to be the Sunday podcast, Sunday conscious.
It
changes to Sunday conscious.
Sheesh, we could go on for hours and hours, but I'm pretty sure we already passed the hour mark. But
for sure,
I'd say I definitely agree with you. Like I said, I'm not in that same exact spot, so I can't really say that I have those same experiences. But I agree that at the point where it's like, if somebody is showing me that they have the what's the word? Like
the mental or the desire?
Desire. If they have the desire to want to help or to want to use whatever privilege they have to help you or want to know about your struggle and somehow change it, if they have the desire, then I feel as though that's a very great person. No matter the color. No matter the color, if they have the desire to want to help and to just, like I said, want to know more about what the struggles you're going to and see what they can do to help, that's fantastic. But so I mean, I think I probably put I don't know, should I put watch through the whole video or something like that?
Timestamps, man.
Oh yeah, timestamps, I guess, No, but it's like
certain content.
Because I know there's like, I don't know, I guess some stuff that I guess we said, some people might just click off and then not even get into the of why we said, and it's I don't know, it's just a whole.
Hey man, it's not for them. It's not for them, man.
Yeah.
If you're clicking off, if you didn't make it to this point, it's not for you, bro.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
You got some work to do.
Exactly.
As I mentioned.
Exactly. That's every color. That's every color. Because we said great things.
I'm sure there's plenty of black people, 12 to 15-year-olds that are gonna watch this and be like, I don't want to hear this boring stuff. Go rate somebody on the app, or go react to some funny videos and get scared so I can laugh at another black man. They don't even know the social. They don't even know the subconscious racism that they have themselves.
Exactly. They don't even understand the different stuff that happened that's not normal for other people from different races. Like, But I don't want to get into that. I want to get into that.
Yeah,
no.
They ain't ready for that yet. They ain't ready for that.
Yeah.
They gotta watch it. They gotta watch some part 2. They gotta watch part 2.
Or part 3, part 4. I don't know. So much in this whole topic. Wait, dang, I was about to say, we could have done this for Black History Month, just did the whole, but nah, that was,
I'm trying to get rid of that. I'm trying to get rid of that month, bro.
The Black History Month?
Yeah. We need to be learning Black history in every month.
Exactly. That's facts.
That's what I'm saying, man.
See, no, that's what I'm saying. Somebody could have clicked off at that point, like, oh, he said he's trying to get rid of Black History Month. You ain't hear what he said.
Hey, man, cancel me if you want, man. I got a YouTube channel. I got plenty of people I can express myself to.
But yeah, no. So that was just what I'm saying. Wait, what you saying?
No, I was saying I'm doing a video this week. Probably Saturday I'll record. Saturday or Sunday. Somebody asked me to talk about just like minorities applying to like medical school because of how expensive it is, and just talking about it. I think it's a perfect thing to talk about, especially in the light of what's going on right now. Just like the idea that things can be expensive, things can be looked at like they're out of reach, but as long as one person did it before you, you can do it. And it's all about taking the steps to pave and make the change, and having a plan and being organized. So
most definitely
looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, so that's definitely gonna be great. It's always great to, even for people that's not of color or not look like us, to even know. Like I said, there's different struggles. But so I appreciate everybody that got to this point. If you got to this point, hopefully you enjoyed. Definitely put your opinions in the comments. That's definitely something I want to hear about. And, maybe even we could even get, like, the whole thing was about, this is a Zoom call. So we could even get guests in this trash, bro. So, Prince, if you're trying to hop on for the part 2, let me know. Let me know.
Sir. You got to have good connection, though.
Yeah, no, I got to have good connection. Because we got to be able to hear. We got to be able to hear. Right. Yeah, no, if anybody's out there and you want to hop in, it's a Zoom call. All I got to do is hit that invite. Shouts out to Terence for even getting the Zoom together. But, so appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the talks. Like I said, there's obviously going to be some things that people don't agree with, but at the end of the day, this is just our opinions. And we didn't even get to, like I said, go into depth of what we think. This is more like just the landscape. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed. Enjoy the rest of your day. We will see you in part 2, maybe part 3 next week, Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.